Page 18, Allegro Grazioso, or however it's pronounced. It happens to be the tempo. Graciously fast. Helps to have an imagination in music, it really does. On pages 16 and 17, they're giving you some new stuff. Let's go over that carefully. They're starting with a dotted rhythm. Well, it doesn't matter what the dotted... If you understand how dots work, dotted rhythms, it doesn't matter what the notes are. We've had dotted half notes all along. Just remember the dot gets half the value of the note, whatever it is. So with a half note in 4/4 time, let's just say, a half note gets 2 counts, therefore a dot gets 1. You just put them together. It's 3 counts. It's like a half note and a quarter note tied together. The dot represents a quarter note, half the value of the half note. They all work the same way. Dotted quarter note is the same as 3/8 notes. So let's say a quarter note, and 4/4 time a quarter note gets a count. So a dot gets half a count. It's like an eighth note. A quarter note and an eighth note tied together. So 1.5 counts. Okay, it doesn't matter what follows it. It might be an eighth note. It could be a quarter note. Could be a half note. It doesn't matter what the next note is. All you're concerned about is the length of the dotted note. Most of the time, it'll probably be an eighth note or well, let's look at the dotted eighth notes. Half of an eighth note is a 16th note. So in 4/4 time, quarter note gets a count, an eighth note gets half a count, a 16th note gets 1/4 of a count, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. You divide it up into 4. So an eighth note gets half a count, and this dot is the same as a 16th note tied together. So it's like 3/4 of a count. Ugh. You almost need a calculator at this point. And whatever follows it comes then. When the next 16th beat, 1/4 of a beat happens, the next note happens. Most of the time it will be a 16th note, but it doesn't have to be. And then even to make it more fun, you can actually have the short note first, and then the dotted note. You can switch them. Overall, it's the same length of time, but it doesn't matter what order they're in. So, on page 16, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. If this is a quarter note, 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. Ugh. Then eighth notes, 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 1. Okay, 16th notes, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. Well, the dotted eighth note is like 3 16th notes tied together. 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. Another way of doing it is long short. The problem with that is that you tend to lengthen the short note and you turn them into triplets. Then it's a 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 1 eanda, 2 eanda. That's not a dotted rhythm. The short note's got to be short. It has a crisp feel to it. That's a dotted rhythm. And a dotted eighth note, dotted quarter note, dotted half note, dotted whole note, doesn't matter. It's the same basic idea. Help you out a little bit, they give you some very well-known, depends on where you're from, melodies that use dotted rhythms, like in the Funeral March. 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 3 eanda. Just think of that, or the Wedding March, the Bridal March. Like so, dotted rhythms. Some people struggle with them. Please don't make it hard. It's not hard. It's just a long short pattern or a short long pattern. Remember, the short note could come first. It doesn't matter. Then on page 17 they get into arpeggios. Well, we've already covered arpeggios. An arpeggio, remember, is simply a broken chord pattern which goes from bottom to top or top to bottom. So if I take a C chord here, extended, and I want to arpeggio, I go from the bottom to the top or top to bottom. That's an arpeggio, an arpeggiated chord. Doesn't matter how fast it is or how slow it is, it's the fact that it's bottom to top or top to bottom. Then they give you, well, how about putting in some dotted rhythms? It doesn't matter what the rhythm is. If the first one they give you here is, they're using an A minor chord on page 17, the first one. And the fingering for it is here because you extend out, and so that is the finger. That's the fingering you use. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. They're just arpeggiated, going up and down. Next one, it would be a G chord. Then the next one is an F chord, and then an E minor chord. Okay, and then the same for the left hand. They do it here. Fourth finger on that. The fingering for the chord is that. And all I'm doing is just transferring weight from note to note. I'm just like walking on the keyboard, here to here. I'm not holding it still and trying to use the fingers. I don't recommend it. Just transfer weight. You have the weight on your little finger, not all of it. I mean, don't drop all your weight down, it's too heavy. Just enough to get it down, and then transfer the weight to the fourth finger. It's like just walking, just then the next finger and up. It's just walking up and then walking down. And then they're doing the other chords too. And that's what they're doing on page 17. Then for this Allegro thingamajigger, 2 4-time, 16th notes all over everywhere. Oh goody. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Let's take this one at a time, hand at a time that is. Slowly and get the fingering and the notes and the rhythms. Now when I start a piece that looks a little tricky, I might forget the rhythm. Let's just get the fingering and the notes. So I'm starting here and here. We got this, so I'm in this position, and then I got 4 C's, and then here. And then I got to bring thumb down, and then want the thumb again. So I'll just go through and try and make sure I can get the fingering and the notes. And then I'll go back and add the rhythm and see if I can fix the fingering, because the finger, I don't agree with their fingering here. I'd like to make some suggestions. Here, it's a pickup beat, because it's 4 16th notes in a beat, so we're coming in on beat 2. Well, if you look at the last measure on page 19, it has 1 beat in it, and you put them together and you get 2 and everybody's happy. Okay, so it's 2 E and a, 2 E and a. Now, you can use thumb on all those if you want. This is a rather quick piece. Allegro's fast. I don't recommend it. You get tired real quick. You tense up. I would recommend you, on those 4 C's, you do a 1, 1, 2, 1. Give your thumb a break, at least on one of them. But the last one probably should be a thumb, and the first one's going to be a thumb. So somewhere in the middle, you need to use another finger. I mean, I could do a 1. I could use a 1, 3, 2, 1. Or just a 1, 1, just to start. If you're not accustomed to using different fingers on repeated notes, you might want to just stick with 1, 1, 2, 1. Otherwise, do the 1, 3, 2, 1. That's good exercise. You need it later, so why not do it now? And then going on, and then on the B's, again, now on these you just do a 1, 2, 1, 2. Because we need thumb here. I don't want to end that measure. This is the last measure, or measure 3. I don't want to end that with a thumb. I need the thumb for measure 4. I don't want to use it on both notes. So I want to end measure 3 with second finger so I can use thumb. So on measure 3, I do 1, 2, 1, 2. Here. And anywhere else these patterns occur, I'm configuring them the same way. And then going on, measure 5. Again, we got these 2. It's a sequence going down. Recognize it, a 2-note sequence. Well, I'd like to have a fingering where I can finger these the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. So I'm going to start at 4 because that's where it is, and then a 3, and from now on it's 3, 2, 2, 3, 2. Until the end, then I can use the 3, but if you use the thumb, you're in position to go on. So again, very slowly, measure 4 is here. 4, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1. And then we do that again. Let's go over to page 19. This is the end of the first line. This measure 16. You're ending the here, and then you come down for those 16th notes. And they want a thumb. We have another sequence going up. What you can do if you want, on measure 17, you can do a 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, and you can do it with this. Because I like to finger each pattern of a sequence the same if I can. And I can do that. So it's 3, 2, now the sequence starts with that. And it actually started in the measure before. You hear 3, 2, 1, and then I can do 3, 1, 3, 1. That works too. There are different fingerings you can try out. Experiment. Pick one. If it's different than the book, pencil it in and stick with it. Just experiment with them. Then on measure 20, you're ending here. Just come. You're going to do it again. And then you go back to the theme that you had at the beginning. Till you get to the bottom. This is actually it's the last measure of the previous line, measure 28 here. Here. It's not exactly a sequence because you're changing notes here. So I'm just staying in this position. Here. And I'm just transferring weight from finger to finger. You can transfer weight very quickly if you just stay relaxed. And then the last two measures, watch out. Bring the thumb down so it's there. A little tricky, but kind of fun if you like to just push notes down. Left hand, you get broken chords. It starts out in treble clef. They give you a treble clef here. And you may wonder, well, why didn't they just put the treble clef at the beginning of the line if they're going to do that? And the answer is, don't know. They could have. They could have started both of those staves in treble clef, but they didn't. And you need treble clef, so they gave you the treble clef in front of the first measure. I don't know. Go ask the Faber people why they do that. But again, we're just a broken C chord. I'm just rotating the hand. Half notes or eighth notes are the eighth notes there. 1 and 2. Rest, rest, rest. Make sure you play the rest. That's pretty much it. Go to the top of page 19. The last two measures of the first line. You're up here, thumb went up, and now bass clef. It's a G and an F, and I do a 2-3 there, but you can do a 2-1 if you want. You have to connect them, supposed to connect them, so I do that. And then next measure is just block chords. Isn't this fun? Then at the end of the third line, you see the treble clef coming back, so when you get to the fourth line, it's treble clef like it was at the beginning. Put the hands together slowly. How slowly is up to you. Everything connected right now. So I go through the whole thing and work that out. If you're hesitating anywhere, work out those spots so the beat is steady. It's got to be steady. Then we can add the articulation. Nice light wrist staccato, short staccato. In the left hand, you see under the staff there it says legato. That means connect them. Playing staccato in one hand and connecting in the other. Actually, you're doing staccato and legato in one hand and connecting the other, and oh, whatever. now a staccato in both. That note on measure 8, that's not staccato. Hang on to that for a half a beat. And it's legato again in the left hand. Now here on measure 15, that's staccato there. Now here, staccato here, but not here. And that's not staccato. So they're mixing it up quite a bit. Going on. See that on measure 20, the line across the tenuto, hang on to that, the full. Kind of linger on it a little bit. Just a hair longer than normal and then go on. And that fermata, hang on to that to whatever you think feels right. I do this with a metronome, I'll just add one beat to it. And then it, again, back like it was at the beginning. Legato in the left hand, so forth. So add the staccatos and legatos and all that. Then add the dynamics. Soft, right hand. The right hand gets the melody throughout. The left hand has to stay in the background. It supports. So just decide what soft is. It's not super soft, it's just soft. And then in measure 5 you get a poco crescendo. You're going to crescendo up somewhere. They don't say how much or for how long. I'm guessing you crescendo up until you get to the C's in the next measure. And then come back down. Right there. Then go up to maybe a moderately soft. Don't get too loud here. Then come back down. And you're soft here. They got soft on the next one, but you're soft here. And soft again. Well, you're still soft. Then come up on measure 16, come up to just a little bit to moderately soft. And the left hand's still very soft. Come up to about moderately loud here, and then come back down. And you're starting measure 20 moderately. You come down to moderately soft, so stay there. And then 22 crescendo up. You're going to go up to loud. In the last measure, you go all the way up to loud, and there's a retardando there. So don't get loud until that fermata note. And the loud is that one. The left hand is staying in the background. And then soft. The last line, you're going to crescendo up to loud. Don't get loud until the last two measures. End it loud. Don't slow down. End it loud. Say, I'm done. Actually, the listener doesn't really know you're done. You have to put your hands out because it could keep going. The way this sounds, it could keep going. But you're done. They'll figure out eventually that you're done when you don't play anymore. Then we think about the speed. Well, this Allegro has to be your Allegro, not mine. It has to be accurate. 16th notes and 8th notes all have to be even. And you do be gracious about it? I don't know. If your Allegro is this, fine. If that's what it takes to be accurate and controlled, That's it. It's not really fast enough, and you might want to come back and do this piece again later after you've advanced through the book and you've gotten a little better. This is a piece you can come back and review and gradually speed it up over time. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Now I'm going to do the dynamics. So I'll give us 3 counts because we come in on beat 2. So I go 1, ready, go, and we go. Not that fast, but let's try it together. Now I want to slow this way, way, way down. So I put the metronome on 8th notes, so it's beating 8th notes. 1 and 2 and that kind of thing. So let's try it at that. 1 and ready and go, we and down. Rest. Rest. Hold, rest.